Hello, everyone. This is Gerald for Tech Tuesdays, and this week we are going to talk about Hyperdoc. So, what is a Hyperdoc? Let's see. I'm just typing in Google, I'm just typing in Hyperdoc definition, and what I get is this definition of what a Hyperdoc is. So, Hyperdoc is a term used to describe a Google document that contains an innovative lesson for students, a 21st century worksheet, but much better. With one shortened link, students can access a lesson that contains instructions, links, tasks, and many clever ways to get kids thinking. So to simplify that a little bit, a hyperdoc is just a Google Doc that compiles all the activities of a lesson that you're giving to the students in one document. Basically, it's going to be subdivided into subtopics or sub-strategies, and each one will have a link to it and maybe a challenge or a task that students need to do. And within the same hyperdoc, you're going to have an area where students can post links to their output or to their response to your challenge. So to give you a better idea of what a hyperdoc looks like, I went through the internet and found this template from hyperdocs.co, and I'll show you where that is in a second. But this is basically what a hyperdoc looks like. I'm going to give you a more elaborate example in a little bit, but here you have the lesson title, and you have some instructions. And as you see, the hyperdoc is subdivided into different subparts that kind of modifies and expands on the 5E model. So here you have an engage activity. In this engaged activity, you can insert a video, image, quote, or an inspirational hook in the box. Explore is curating a collection of resources. It might be articles, videos, infographics, text excerpts, etc. for the students to explore a topic. So you might give them a question prompt and then give them links to certain articles and videos and other informational material that they can use to answer that question. For explain, it says here, use this topic of the hyperdoc to explain the lesson objective through direct instruction using your favorite web tool, or gather students together to teach the content. So for the explain part, you can do a lecture, or you can give them a video or certain instructional web pages that they can use for to learn the material. Apply is creating an assignment for students to apply what they learned by using web tools to create, collaborate, and or connect beyond the classroom. So you can use Flipgrid for this one. You can use YouTube if that's what you want to do. Canva for infographics and posters. If you want to keep it really simple, you can have them create a slide deck through Google Slides. And then once they're done with that, there's going to be a share box where you collect student work and provide feedback, and or include a section for students to share work with an authentic audience. Now, one thing that we keep forgetting is that social media is not the enemy. We need to teach students how to leverage social media so that they have an electronic paper trail showing what they have done in education, so that when they apply for college or a job and they claim that they were able to do this and this was a project that they made, if they have that electronic paper trail, then it would be a more credible claim, I guess you could say. Reflect, include an opportunity for face-to-face or digital reflection to guide students along with their learning progression and set new goals. So again, for this, you can do a video log type format where you send kids to a link and they create a video, and people react to their video. When I say people, you get to choose whether that's the public, whether that's your class or your community. And of course, this will be based on their grade level. In Extend, you can add more links to more activities and online resources to extend the learning. So just to fill in those gaps. Now to get that template and other templates that you can use to make your hyperdocs, you can go to this original website, which is hyperdocs.co. These three ladies here are the ones that invented the hyperdoc. If you want to learn more about them, just go to the website and go to the About section. What I want to look at is the resources, where you can find other templates that you can use. So I went under the resources tab and then templates, and we have a bunch of different templates here. Keep in mind, you can create your own hyperdoc from scratch if that's what you want to do. We also have some samples of hyperdocs. So you see here you have different subjects. And one good thing about this is there's an evaluating hyperdocs portion where you can learn how you can assess or give a grade to hyperdoc. There's a video in here and there's a link that's going to show you how to actually evaluate your hyperdocs. So at this point you're probably thinking, how am I going to get this done? I have a busy schedule, I've got so much to do. Well, let me show you how you can find hyperdocs on the internet. What I'm just going to do is just type in math hyperdoc 3, and it gives you different math samples. I'm just going to go to the first one, which is iHeartEDU Math Hyperdocs. This one looks kind of interesting. Comparing cell phone plans, a system of equations, hyperdocs. So I'm going to click on that. And it has a whole bunch of text, but what I'm really looking for is the hyperdoc itself. This one has it right here in infographic format. So this hyperdoc looks like it was created using that original template that we talked about, except that it has boxes where students can post links or QR codes, so that they can share evidence of what they did. Let's see what I can do with this. I can file and make a copy. And I will put it in my Google Drive. That way I can edit the copy. Awesome. So now this copy is mine. It's out of the shared folder from the author. Let's see what we can do with this. So editing a hyperdoc is the same as editing any other Google document. You can just type in and change whatever you want to. The main thing that I want to look at is creating boxes and adding links to it. So first, to create a box, I'm just going to enter this, create another space, and all you have to do is click on Insert and then Table, and then you can just add a 1x1 table, and there you have it. To add links to it, let's say I want to go to a YouTube video, AT&T you will. So I'm going to find that on YouTube. AT&T you will. I'm just picking a random topic that's related to cell phones, but this is anything to do with plans or plan pricing. So let's say we have that video. All I have to do is go up here, click on the link, press either Control C to copy or right click and choose copy. And then I'm going to go back to that Google document and highlight the text that I want to link. So let's say I want to use AT&T you will for my hyperlink. All I do next is press Control K, and this is going to come out. And where it says link, I'm just going to right click, paste, and apply. So as you can see, what happened when I did that was the AT&T You Will text turned blue and it became underlined. That means that it has an active link attached to it. When I click on that text, the YouTube link to the video is going to come out, and when I click on that, it's going to take me to that video. Now, I understand that a Hyperdoc looks like it's a Google document where you just add links and students can post links, and it looks as simple as that, but in reality a Hyperdoc is a transformative digital lesson delivery system that shifts the focus from teacher-led lecture to student-based or student-driven inquiry-based learning through exploration, because here you're not lecturing as much. The students are actively seeking out resources on the internet and using that to create their own resources. So not only are we teaching them how to use the internet properly, we're also teaching them to transition from just being consumers of technology to actually creators within that technology. So last infographic here to summarize Hyperdocs transform instruction. The typical classroom setup is it's teacher directed, it's textbook driven, and it's whole group based lectures where everyone interacts or has to interact with everyone else, and that's a little bit of a disadvantage for introverted individuals. But with the use of Hyperdocs, the learning becomes personalized because they get to explore different resources. They get to choose which resource they can learn the same content from. Like I said, there are multiple resources, and I understand that it takes a lot of work to find these resources, but if you front load that work, just keep in mind that you're not going to be doing that much lecturing in the classroom, so at the end of the day you're not going to be as exhausted either. And there's flexible grouping because students can work on the same platform. Say if you have 5 students that want to work on Flipgrid to create reaction videos, they can do that while your other 5 students are creating their posters on Canva, and another 10 students are, creating a simple game using Scratch, for example. Lastly, I'd like to show you this great infographic that informs us of what a Hyperdoc is and what it's not. A Hyperdoc, it says here, is transformative, interactive, personalized, engaging tool to help facilitate student creativity and collaboration. What it's not is a substitution. It's not a digital version of a worksheet. It's not standardized, meaning that you can change it however you want to. You can lay it out however you want to. It's not inflexible, meaning that if you wanted your students to do Flipgrid and they wanted to do something else, then you allow them that opportunity to create however they want to create. And it's not just another way to disseminate information to be consumed. The most important thing about the Hyperdoc is that it helps us train students to transition from being consumers of information and the internet to being producers on the internet. So that's Tech Tuesday for this week. I hope that you learned something from that. If you have any questions about how to create Google Docs or how to generate your own Hyperdoc, don't hesitate to let me or Caleb know. I will post this video in our district website, so if you go to the district website and you go to teacher web pages, under technology department, technology specialist, on the left side, we're going to have the Tech Tuesdays link. All of our Tech Tuesdays are found here. I'm going to add this to that. And you can always come back to it.